from our the Argus Searchlight Cookbook. And today we're not going to do a casserole, we're going to do something totally different, one of my husband's favorite meals. It's chicken and dumpling. And this will be our second attempt on this. We had some malfunctions last time, so we're doing this the second time.
First time they came out great.
Yeah, it looked great with absolutely no sound. So
She just broke the microphone.
So we're doing this again, and this one is literally called Chicken and Dumplings. It's by Rachel S. Bowen from Bellwood, Illinois.
Yay, Bellwood.
Yeah. I have been looking through the book, and I have noticed that a lot of these recipes in here, these people probably lived on farms, based on what I'm seeing from the recipes and having to look up things on it. They lived on farms. They didn't go down to the grocery store. When it was time for dinner, they went to the barn and got it. So this one tells us that what we need to do first is cut a stewing chicken into serving size pieces and simmer until done. Okay? Well, I don't know if everybody knows what a stewing chicken is.
It's one that's really mad at you.
Yes, it's a stewed chicken.
Barely controlled rage.
Basically what it is, I looked it up to make sure, it's an old chicken on the farm that has ceased to lay eggs.
Could be a Stewie chicken from Family Guy.
Anyway, they use it, once the chicken stops laying, it becomes dinner. So you would use an older chicken, one because it's going to cook a while. It has to cook a while. And it will, it's tough, so it'll tenderize as it cooks. It's a tougher chicken. But if you go to the grocery store, you're not going to be able to go in and say, I would like a stewing chicken. He's just going to hand you a chicken. And it'll probably say young chicken on it.
Whose name was Stu.
All I found in the store were young chickens. And there were some that say they have roasting chickens. What was it? Roasting chickens, fryer chickens.
They're very religious.
But they don't, not everybody has it. If you're lucky enough to have a friend who's on a farm, you might be able to try it, see if they have one they want to sell you. Or if you have a farmer's market that sells that kind of stuff, there you go. You can actually get a stewing chicken. Other than that, you can use a regular chicken and it'll work just fine. My suggestion is boneless chicken thighs. Work great if you cut them up, and pre-diced, some of the stores sell pre-diced chicken. You can get some of that, save you some time, make it a little bit easier and faster, because the longest time you'll notice, I don't know if you can see it, the chicken is already cooking on the stove because that takes the longest time to cook. It takes a while to cook it. So ours is about done. While it's simmering over there, we're going to go ahead and start making our dumplings over here. And we are going to attempt this. We did have a major fail on this the last time. They want us to roll the dumplings. All the dumplings that I've ever made, you drop in with a spoon. We are going to attempt it again, and we're going to see if it'll roll. If not, drop dumplings it is. We'll make them a little smaller. Last time it took forever to cook because we made them just a tiny bit too big.
But they were good.
They were delicious, but they were just a little undercooked. So, we are going to be using a product in here that a lot of you have probably been told, don't use that, it's bad for you. Well, that's not true. We're going to be using lard.
Well, it's not exactly good for you, but it's not bad for you.
But it's not any, it's better for you than butter. Lard is better than butter.
They used to say not to take the lard's name in vain.
Anyway, okay, I looked it up so that we could find out more about it, and lard is fat from pig. It doesn't have the pork flavor in it, it's just lard from a pig. It does get a bad rap. It has less saturated fat than butter, 20% less. It is higher in monosaturated fats that are said to lower LDL cholesterol and has no trans fat like in Chardonnay. This one.
I had shortening once, and
But anyway,
I shrank an inch.
I really try to cut it off. But dang.
Try the dumplings. I'm here till Thursday.
Right. So we're gonna go ahead and start our dumplings, and we will be using this. Give lard a try. You know, it's not something you want to eat every single day, but give it a try. So our chicken is over here cooking on the stove, and what I did is I did use a whole chicken. I didn't cut it up. What I did is I tied it inside a cheesecloth and put it into the broth and let it boil. That way, when it was done, I could just take the cheesecloth out, take it out, get the chicken off, and I didn't have to go searching for bones inside the chicken, inside the broth. I put all the meat back in here, so right now it's about ready. So we're about ready to start our dumplings, and we'll have dinner about half hour after that, according to the recipe. So first things first, for our dumplings, it says that we have to sift all the dry ingredients. The dry ingredients are 2 cups of flour, a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1 teaspoon of salt. So we have our baking powder,
Translate
salt,
it, that's salt.
and our flour. And you can use a sifter if you want, or this is just a regular strainer. So we're going to start with 2 cups of flour. It says to use sifted flour and then sift it, so I think it's just to make sure there's no lumps. There's 1. And there's 2 cups of flour. You want to keep your flour handy. We're going to need it when we do the dumplings, because we're going to need to put a little bit on the counter so we can roll it. Okay, and then we need, how much did I say in the baking powder? A 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. Okay, 1/4. Make sure you level it out. That's why there's no liquid. Put it in the flour. You want to sip that in so it mixes in well. And then it says a 1/2 teaspoon. Make sure it's a teaspoon. You don't want it to be too salty. Of salt. Alright, so we have all that in there now, and that's all our dry ingredients, and we're going to go ahead and sift that into our bowl. You see you got rid of all the little lumps. Piece of flour. Okay. Next it says to rub the lard into the flour. The lard is judged by a ball. It says to use an egg-sized lump of lard, so about that big. Okay, a lump of lard. And I have a spoon for the lard. I'm gonna get it out. Make an egg. And we'll say that's an egg. An egg of lard. And we're gonna put it in. And then it tells us how to mix the lard in. And it is actually mixed in, it says to rub the lard into the flour. And you can do this. I've seen people use knives. You can use a food processor. You can use a cutter. I have a cutter, but it's just a pastry cutter. The best way is to get your hands in and just kind of rub the lard into the flour, all the flour and all the lard together. Kind of gonna make like little balls. Everything is mixed into the lard. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty when you're cooking. And once wash.
What's dirty hands when you're cooking? Kind of defeats the purpose of washing your hands, don't it?
No, they look dirty now. You can wash
They're
them
not
again.
dirty, they're just floury.
Okay.
If you were just fooling around with it, you'd be doing the Lard's player.
Sure. Do you think so? I feel like I should be doing like in a TV show. You could write to such and subject. Okay. I think that's all rubbed in. Can't see anymore. So it's all mixed in. Now we're going to move on to our next step, which would be the wet ingredients. The next step is going to be all of our wet ingredients, which isn't a lot. It's just a half a cup of water and 3 eggs. That's it. So we have our measuring cup. So we need a half a cup of water. And it says to add the egg, what's it? To beat the eggs and
Mercilessly.
add the water. So we have our eggs here. And two, 3 eggs. Okay. Beat them up.
Bad eggs.
Just to break them up.
You know, those eggs used to be a singing group. Used to be a trio.
Now they're scrambled.
They made a lot of record albums.
There's no.
I still got it.
Alright, so now we're going to add the water. And we're going to hope this time it worked. I think we fixed the problem. I don't think last time the problem was we didn't rub the lard into the flour enough. Maybe not. I need a tiny bit more flour. It's a little sticky to roll.
It was sticky to roll last time, that's why we didn't do it.
That's why we didn't roll it.
I actually like them dropped in. Those are dumplings. What
Well,
they
I
were
was
talking about
truthfully
was more like a pie
trying-
topping.
Yeah, it has a little footnote on that that says they used to call this the pot pie. Why? Because it was all baked in a pot. But yeah, I have seen and I have looked up recipes that say you can roll this. But in all honesty, it's going to need a lot more flour to roll this. So, I think we're going to end up having to use the drop method again. Because I don't want it to taste like flour, but it does take a while. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to use this recipe and we're going to drop them in because this isn't going to roll. You can see it's sticking. You would need a lot more flour to make it more like a dough that you can roll out. All right. Okay, so we are going to take our bowl. We got a couple spoons. I'll show you why we have 2 spoons in there. Like a stove. Move this all up here. Okay, because we want Alright, so we're ready to move over to our stove. I just wanted to make sure that the chicken was boiling. It is hot and it's boiling. Like I said, depending on your chicken is how long it's going to be boiling on the stove. You wanted to make sure that there was a little extra broth in there so that it's over the top, about an inch over the top of your chicken, so that you have room for the dumplings in there when you put it in. So you want it to be boiling when you put the dumplings in. I'm just stirring it to make sure everything's good. Yep, all done. It says to cut it up into serving size pieces. Because I did the whole chicken, mine kind of shredded apart. I kind of like it shredded. It works really nice. Shred it up. Okay, so now it's boiling. You want to keep it boiling. When you add anything to it, it usually cuts the boil down. I'm gonna have to move this over here if you want to stand. All right, so you get 2 spoons. Just like when you're making cookies. Put a little dough on here, bring it to the thing, scrape it off and drop it in. Okay. I am making them a lot smaller. Like I said, it took a while for them to cook, and it does say to, and if you can get it to roll, 1.5 inch square. So, not too big. Kind of one of those homey type meals.
Comfort food.
Comfort food. Makes you feel
Comfortable.
you're home. Yeah. Everything's good. No matter what's going on, something like this just makes everything okay. Now there's no vegetables or anything in this. You can add some when you're cooking it. You can add some to the broth. Just make sure it's in bite-sized pieces, not little squares, but make sure it's fresh, so that when you're boiling,
Peas are good in it. Fresh peas.
You don't wanna overcook them. If you were gonna add peas, or anything like that, you want to do that closer to being done, because they don't need to cook that long. But carrots, fresh carrots, probably need a little extra time to cook. It's starting to stop again.
Starting to stop? Isn't that a little
yes, it is.
Contradiction?
It is. Well, if they can have jumbo shrimp, I can start to stop. It's a lot of dumplings.
Yeah, more the better.
Okay. So once they're in, then you want to drop them in so they do look like little puffy clouds in there. And then you want a tight-fitting lid.
Hold on, getting it. Okay, I guess.
You're getting a tight-fitting lid, and you're going to put it on there, and we're going to leave it for 25 minutes. Don't touch it, don't stir it. You can break up your dumplings if you start stirring it around.
Then the chicken will really be stewed.
Mm-hmm. So at this point in time, you can set your timer. I do have a timer on the stove, I just don't know. Maybe I'll figure it out. So you're gonna leave it boiling on there, 25 minutes. Now, if you wanted to, you could make a side vegetable, get a vegetable ready, clean up, whatever. And we'll be back in 25.
Action.
Okay, well, it's been 25 minutes, and what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go ahead and open this up.
Get on this side.
And I'm going to get a little plate, and I'm going to get a dumpling out and see if it's done. Oh, the dumplings even got big. Even when we made them small, they got pretty big and fluffy. So I'm going to hope that they're done inside. So go ahead and cut one open.
And look a little doughy.
A little bit. Not bad, actually. It looked doughy, but maybe 5 minutes. You want to try one?
Yeah, a few more minutes.
I don't want to overcook them. And we'll go 5 more minutes. Oh yeah, keep them going. Go 5 more minutes and see if that does it. What I wanted to touch on too is this was a really simple recipe. Basically chicken, stock, and the ingredients to make the dumplings. which was quite simple. There's really no seasoning in it. It just says add salt to taste. That's it. No seasoning. So I suggest you make it and then play with it from there, adding whatever you want, whatever your favorite spice to chicken is. I would recommend too that you add a little seasoning to your chicken before you put it in to cook it. Salt, pepper, garlic, onion powder, whatever you like to season your chicken, your roasted chicken with, you can put on there. But there is no real seasoning in this, and I'm just following the recipe that they sent us. So you're gonna have to kind of play with it and add your own seasoning. And you can add, we were just talking about the vegetables and stuff. I don't have any fresh vegetables. I'm going to be using peas and carrots. Mine are frozen. That we're going to add to this at the end because I kind of like to serve this in a bowl as a one dish meal. You can use fresh vegetables. I don't think it does take about an hour if you're using bone-in whole chicken. It takes about an hour, so you probably don't want to put the vegetables in just yet. You want to put them in probably at the end. It does take a while to cook like carrots and stuff, but softer vegetables, you want to put it closer towards the end. So you just have to play with that too to figure out which way to do it. That was all we were talking about, was the seasoning. Seasoning is the big thing. There's, like I said, there's really nothing. This is a really simple meal. It sounds, everybody goes, oh, chicken and dumplings, it's hard. If you get pre-diced chicken, pre-cut up chicken, it makes it even easier. It'll probably cook in less than an hour in the pot. There's chicken and broth boiling in a pot, and then you make the dumplings. About 3 more minutes and we'll be done. Timer's gone off. Oops. Our timer's gone off, so we were going to check it again. Yeah, I think those are done. They're going to be a little gooey. They're dumplings. Let's... Here. Ooh, hot, hot, hot. Do you mind?
Oh yeah, you're done.
Alright, so we've turned up our pot. Now, I'm going to make it an all-in-one meal. I did make some peas and carrots, and I'm just going to put these in. And I preheated these just on the burner. Now I'm going to add them to the pot. Just give it a quick little flip in. That is a lot of chicken in there from a whole chicken.
Yeah, well.
And there's our dumplings and our peas and carrots. So now we have a one-pot meal. And we're going to take this to the table, and we are going to have dinner. All right. That is a mess of chicken. I'm using the cheesecloth in there. You shouldn't have to worry because you fill the apart with your hands when you're using a bone-in chicken. You don't want bones, that's for sure. And unfortunately, you probably don't want the skin. I'll go ahead and taste this again. I'll probably need some salt and some pepper. Like I said, there's no seasoning in it, but we try to follow the recipe as best we can. Some minor adjustments. Just all about the bone. The one thing it's going to need, salt, pepper, obviously some garlic. My other recommendation, like I said, is to pre-season your chicken before you even cook it. Put it in your broth. But yeah, add a little seasoning, add your favorite. Garlic is a big one. Salt, pepper. Add some onions to it when you're boiling the chicken. Anything like that. But this is really, it's really not that hard to make. just sounds like it. So it's delicious, even though it is a little bland. It's delicious tasting. So, so if I can make it, so can you.